وصفيه من خلقه وخليله بلغ الرسالة وأدى الأمانة ونصح الأمة وكشف الغمة وتركنا على المحجة البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيغ عنها إلا هالك ولا يتنكبها إلا ضال. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والتابعين وتابعين بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters, we continue inshallah with the topic we started last week, which was trying to or attempting to answer the question, is Islam a radical religion? And that's a very important, doesn't mean that we are Muslims, we cannot tackle such kind of inquiry. And well, for me personally, if I see that Islam is not the true religion, I will convert. But I believe in it. I believe that Islam is a true religion. And my belief is based on evidence. It's not based on something like randomly because my father was a Muslim. Because I believe in it. Now, that's a good question because Scott Morrison, the ex-Prime Minister, Australian Prime Minister, while he was addressing an anti-Semitism conference in Tel Aviv, the occupied city of Jaffa, he was addressing anti-Semitism and he started to talk about radical Islam and blah blah blah, whatever it is, and he gave instructions or kind of superior, inferior way of thinking that the Muslim community should regulate who speaks, who do not speak, how imams should be classified or qualified as imams. And this is something, in fact, is way beyond that person's capacity, either intellectual capacity or political capacity, because Australia, in section 116 in the Australian Constitution, Australia cannot intervene, the Australian government cannot intervene in any religion. So it is beyond his even intellectual capacity because he hasn't read the Quran. I believe Scott Morrison hasn't read the Quran. So I advise Scott Morrison and everybody else just to read the Quran first. Probably you will convert to Islam. And then you will be a good Muslim, probably. But do not talk beyond your capacity. You will be always like a joke because you don't know what you are talking about. Now that's the thing here, but we need to tackle the question also, radical Islam, and it started to be used in the media after the Bondi Beach attack, and we always have to insist that Bondi Beach attack was not an act of Islam. We all agree on this. The people who were killed in that, they were victims, and we do not accept it as Muslims. And ISIS does not represent us. I think we explained this in several khutbahs. And ISIS is the product of modern jihad that was created by the systems of the Western world. Google, YouTube, search, Margaret Thatcher addressing the Mujahideen in Kabul, pledging money to support them in 1983. That's something for sure, it's there. They created modern jihad, they created that monster, and that monster became out of their control even, killing Muslims. Some of the non-verified statistics that 73% of the victims of ISIS were Muslims. So how come, why you tell me ISIS killing non-Muslims? 73% of ISIS victims are non-Muslims, are Muslims. So we all know the context of ISIS creation and these things. Especially a person like me, I grew up and I was born in Jordan, and that's my region over there. So I understand the culture, I understand the dynamics as well. Now, forget about this. Is Islam a radical religion? We last week identified what radicalism is, or what is radical or not radical. So we need to understand, because this word is being used usually, even out of criticizing Islam, they'll say, oh, that's radical movements, radical blah, 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 whatever it is. Radical means literally, from a linguistic or a semantic point of view, is that Radical is to refer to the roots of a thing, to understand things. To refer to the roots and the origins of anything, to understand how it evolves. That's radical. Or, radical means that you need to inflict a rapid change, quick change. So you don't need to wait to change it gradually. You need to inflict a radical change. For example, changing a political regime in a coup, it's radical change. Changing blah, 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 it's radical. So within this context, Donald Trump always describes and uses the word radical in TV, for example, radical movement, radical left, to criticize his opponents. So now the use of the word radical or radicalism is being used politically by anybody to attack anybody if they are not agreeing with. So now that's radical. Now from a fair perspective, radical means anything that is deviated from the true thing. That's radical. Is that right? Anything. So what's the truth? Justice is the truth. Anything that is deviated from justice is radical. Justice, for example, in the taxation system, where billionaires, even in Australia, they don't pay taxes, and corporations, they don't pay taxes, while individuals, they pay all the taxes. Is that fair? That's radical. In fact, that's radical, because it's unfair. It is against justice for this system to maintain itself this way, even though we pay our taxes, by the way. Now, radical means, for example, not to have racism as the basic of establishing a country. For example, this country here was colonized by the British colonization, and the country that we see here originally was established based on a genocide. That's radicalism. They killed millions of Aboriginal people. That's radicalism. They established it, and they still have the constitution that was an outcome of radicalism. It's there. That is radicalism. That's radical. That's how we should look at it. So what is it for us as Muslims? Because we always believe in the middle. We always are neither righties nor lefties. We are in the middle. Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. And so we have made you a middle ummah between other ummahs, between other nations. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ a middle ummah. Why? To witness over other nations. To witness what? To witness whether they are deviated from the truth or not. Witness. So we understand radical, and they don't let them fool you because they repeat it in the media. Radical Islam, radical Islam, radical Islam. To the extent that you believe that Islam is radical when they repeat it. Repeat. And you start to, now you feel that if you practice Salah, you are radical. If you have that headscarf, no, you are radical. If you wear the thobe, you are radical. If you have the beard, you are radical. Subhanallah. It is not. Because you are what you are. Radicalism is related to something that has, over the past week, because our method or our approach in this khutbah that we do is always we try to contemplate of what happened over the past week, and then we discuss it from an Islamic perspective. They spoke about radicalism. Okay, how about Epstein's file? How about Epstein's files? Where is radicalism here? Radicalism is what happened in that island, Little St. James Island of Epstein over the past 2 decades or more. That's radicalism. Radicalism is, you see that most of the global leaders were hanging out with a pedophile in an island where everything sinful was committed in that island. That's radicalism. That's radicalism. It's not about you having a beard that you are radical. Radicalism is the system, the justice system in the US tried several times to make Epstein get out of it. And by the way, guess what happened? Who made, because you feel, oh, now there's a justice system. Until now, they're trying to protect what's happening. You see, most of the files leaked, like covered. Names are covered because they don't want to know. Because you see that, at least you know that, at least we have two US presidents, ex-presidents, and one, the current president, and Bill Clinton were there hanging out with him. So at least we know two presidents of the world's largest empire, modern empire, who tries to sell us how, impose on us how Muslims should practice their religion. They are there. So that's radicalism. You need to look at your criteria of judging ethics and moralities. That's radicalism, it's not us. We have a clear standard, clear ethical standards mentioned in the Quran and Sunnah, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. You have a problem of your way of seeing the world. Now we will continue the episteme files in the second part of the khutbah. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه استغفر الله. الحمد لله وكفى وصلاته وسلامه على النبي المصطفى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما لبيك اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت وسلمت وباركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. Is Islam a radical religion? Definitely no. Definitely no. Even some Muslim names and personalities were mentioned and hanging out with episteme. They are all, we know them. We don't want to mention names, but we all know them, that they're fake oligarchs who trying to topple the regimes, who trying to manipulate the Muslim world, trying to enrich themselves. Now, I want you to have a look at the episteme's file, because you all look at it, most of us, as a pedophile person who abused children for sex. Well, that's not the case. The case is way greater than this. We have to look at it from a different perspective to understand the whole thing about Epstein's files. And then we answer the question, is American liberalism radical or not? It's not us. You have to think, guys, you need, I'm talking peacefully, honestly, for all non-Muslims, all respected brothers and sisters who live in the Western world, who believe or used to believe or still believing that their system is good, your system is manipulating you. Your liberalism is manipulating you. This system is manipulating you. Epstein's file was many times, Epstein got rid of it through his pressure on the elite ruling the US. Guess who unfolded everything? Guess who put everything to the people? It was a very brave journalist. Don't tell me it's Muslim. No, it's not Muslims, because bravery is not only limited to Muslims. And this would tell you something important. The American people are good. Western people are good. Everybody is good unless otherwise is proved. So the system is different from the people. You have to be always good with those people. Talk to them. Help them understand what Islam is. Help them understand even their system, because their system is manipulating them and us and manipulating the whole world. Manipulating the whole world. So that's how we should look at it. Now, she was a brave journalist who put series and blah, blah, blah. And up to even yesterday, 2 days ago, only some of the victims, they got the courage to say, oh, I was a victim. Can you imagine? And they were shut down, not to talk about it. That's the system. That's the radical system, is not us. When you talk about radicalism, let me tell you how we can understand Epstein's files. Epstein, you see it as a pedophile abusing, but it was a ring of influence, political influence. No one got into his island without being filmed. Either photos or videos. Each and every spot in his island has spying cameras. One of like the brother of our king, because Australia is under the British monarchy. So the brother of our king, Andrew, who was like deprived from all his related titles related to the monarchy, Andrew was there with really shameful photos. You see that Epstein and the files around him is that about influencing the whole world. Anyone who wanted to get something from this big world, from this elite, they would beg for a chance to meet with Epstein. Oligarchs, politicians, representative of kings, representatives of queens, the Sweden monarchy, the Norwegian monarchy, everybody is there. Why? They knew very well that he was a pedophile. Why would all these oligarchs, why would all these people of influence continue doing what they were doing, and they were saying what they wanted? Elon Musk himself begged Epstein that whenever you have a crazy party, invite me. I want to come and attend. Elon Musk, even Mark Zuckerberg, who sells on you, Facebook, who sells on you, you have breached the community standards. He has breached it many times at Epstein's island. So, no, most of them go 3 million documents. 3 million documents exposing this radical system. Exposing this radical system, because we mentioned that radicalism is you are deviated from the right path. That's radicalism. Right? Now, that network or ring of influence was led by Epstein, who was used or begging to be used to link people together to solve problems. For example, one of the examples that you know, when the Egyptian President Mubarak was toppled by the Arab Spring, and Muammar Gaddafi of Libya was toppled, Epstein and some people, they wanted to do something to make use of the money of those people in Switzerland, to make money, to steal the money of the people of Egypt and Libya. They were planning to do that. So that's Epstein. It's not just a sex ring. It's not just a pedophile. It's more than that, way more than that. Another thing about it, which always we are not allowed, you are not entitled, don't talk about Israel, state of Israel. State of Israel is not above criticism. Ehud Barak, who was an ex-prime minister of Israel, visited. He was a very close friend of Epstein. Guess what he wanted? That was a video. I'm talking about a video leaked. So we are not speculating. We're not doing conspiracy theory. We're not doing something that it's a video. Guess what he wanted? He wanted 1 million Russian people to be converted into Judaism and be migrated to Palestine, the occupied Palestine. Think about it. He wanted a plan where he could get, or convincing Putin at the time, in 2013 or 2014, whatever it is, to bring 1 million Russian people to be converted into Judaism and then migrated to Israel or the occupied Palestine. Why? Explaining, and I'm using their explanations, my own words. Because they wanted to challenge the growing numbers of Arabs and Muslims there. So this means that it is a clear demographic manipulating of the owners of the land, of the traditional owners of the land. It's a clear understanding from Ehud Barak himself that they did not belong to that land. Because when you import people to, convey that you own this land, you don't own it. Another thing about it, and in his explanation, that they didn't want the Eastern Jews. They wanted more Western Jews, even amongst Jews themselves. They're trying to make discrimination. Because bringing Jews from Russia is different from bringing Jews from the Arab world or from Ethiopia. They wanted to manipulate even the demography of Israel itself for the sake of having more Western Ashkenazim. Because in Israel, you need to know two terminologies. Israel itself has two sects or two ethnicities mainly. Ashkenazim and Sephardim. Ashkenaz is Western Europe. Safars or Sephardim, they are Western Jews and Eastern Jews. They wanted even to manipulate the demography of Israel by having a fake Jews to be inside Palestine is it kind of manipulating the ethnic, it's part of ethnic cleansing, by the way, in general. Now, that's Epstein. That's Epstein. He's very well connected with everybody. He's very well connected with. Is this radicalism or not? Is this radicalism or not? I'm asking a question, not for you. I'm asking this question to the Australian system. I'm asking this question to our brothers and sisters in Australia. Mainstream Aussie, if we are allowed to talk to them. I'm asking this question to everybody who feels that they are free, innocent, free people, true free people who believed in liberalism, who believed in their values. You have to stand for your own values from this system, which is very radical system, that it tries to rule the whole world. And then Bill Clinton would come up to give us lessons about democracy and human rights while he was in an island with pedophiles. At least we haven't known that. And Bill Clinton himself, who was in a very, very well-known case of Monica Lewinsky. You dig and see who was Monica Lewinsky. That's how it is. So the bottom line is that definitely Islam is the religion of being in the middle. As Allah Azza wa Jal says, and so we have made you a middle nation to witness over other nations. That's it. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ وَيَكُونَ الرَّسُولُ عَلَيْكُمْ شَهِيدًا. And so also for the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to be witness or to witness over you as well. That's radicalism, is when you deviate, when the system deviates from the truth, from justice. That's radicalism. Radicalism is when such oligarchs circling, having networks of influence around a pedophile who uses the photos and the videos to get what he wanted by blackmailing, by extortion of high top-ranked people in the world to get what they wanted. That's radicalism. Radicalism is to protect that person for 20 years. By the way, he was released from prison. He was released from prison in 2016. He was released and it was done. Then the media or some brave, honorable journalists who did that. What we need as Muslims, first of all, as Muslims in general, as Australian Muslims as well. First of all, you need to understand that Australian people are good people. You need to talk to them. They are not our enemies. I'm not here to incite any kind of discrimination. I'm here to explain things that you need to talk to those people. They are people that they have not really, over the years, have not understood the system because they have been brainwashed and socially engineered by media, specifically Murdoch media in this country, to think the same way they think these days. You have to talk to them. You have to be good with them. Build a friendly relationship. Go, show them the true values of Islam. Now we have Ramadan after 2 weeks. You need to bring them, you talk to them, invite them for iftar dinners. Show them what you are. Show them who you are in a very nice way. That's what we need to do. Second, we do not need to feel inferior in this country and all over the world because media always talks about as radical Muslims. I know Muslims, I know them. I know I am one of them. Whenever there is something by ISIS, I feel, oh my God, I don't want it to be done anymore. You feel tired, you feel afraid, you don't want to. No. From now on, you need to stop saying, this is your ISIS, this is not our ISIS. This is your creation, it's not our creation. This is your radicalism, it's not our radicalism. That's how you need to raise your head. Raise your head and say, no, Islam is not this. And this does not represent us. You don't need to feel inferior, because what they want, media outlets and those behind them, they want you to feel inferior. They want you to feel, and then you are submissive to what they want from you. They will take you step by step, so that even in the end, wallahi, they will never be satisfied with you as a Muslim. First of all, you don't have to be radical, and then you don't have to pray, and then you don't have to fast, you don't have to do anything, and then even if you become just a non-practicing Muslim, still, you still have that blood in you. We don't know when the click is going to happen. You need to rebuild, to re-establish the good image of Islam as religion of peace, of development of earth, of justice. It's not a religion of violence. Never. It's not a religion of hatred. Never. It's the religion of being in the middle all the way. اللهم عافنا واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا تقبل منا واختم بالصالحات أعمالنا ولا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وثبتنا على الإيمان. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, guide us to the righteous way. Make us from those who walk in it. Make us from those who represent the good image of Islam. Make us from those who represent the tolerance, peace of Islam. Make us from those who bring others to Islam. Make us from those who talk to others and let them know about Islam. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, make us from those who live for Islam and die for Islam. Hey Allah Azza wa Jal, make us from those who spend their life for your satisfaction. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, make us from those who support their brothers and sisters wherever it is, whenever it is. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us from those who stand with the truth and justice regardless of whoever is under oppression. وأقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون.